last week I wrote this poem before spoken word, but I didn't read it here. I read it in the evenings, so a number of you people have heard it. Pain. I woke up this morning with a terrible case of plantar fasciitis. Plantar fasciitis. Yes, plantar fasciitis. Not the worst thing one could have by long sight, but still very painful. Pain hurts to be sure, but it has some value. It can make us think of how much worse it could be. We could have some terrible illness or even be dead. We could, even should think of this and recognize pain's value. Fuck it, it's easier to curse and scream. I'll give the title of this later. I saw children chasing pigeons at a playground in Montem, which I can't pronounce. As I walked by, I smiled and disapproved. They didn't notice me or my hair in disrepair. But I stared in mute contemplation of their scary, fearless, unrelenting effort to scare these multicolored humble doves who come from everywhere. That is the title poem in David's book, and which you should all have. And speaking of books by people here, I also have in my hand, and I haven't gotten into it yet, Perspectives by Maria Sweeney, and or Seventh Heaven, but it's about seven perspectives. And since she talked about perspectives, my first one was about pain. I have another one about perspective. It's called 6 Months Weather. 6 months wonder. I was too young for Korea, although I had a friend whose older brother died there. I was too old for Vietnam, although I had friends whose younger brothers died there. I was working as a civilian for the Department of the Army, and there was pressure to get my military obligation out of the way. So I spent from November 1962 through May 1963 in Fort Dix, New Jersey, and Fort Sill, Oklahoma, as a 6 months wonder. I hated it. It was boring, repetitious, an awful lot of chicken shit. I wanted to get on with my life. There was only later that I got to realize how much I learned in just those few months. The Irish Catholic from New York City worked with the Protestant from Alabama who thought that the Pope was a heretic. The college English major found common ground with high school dropouts who thought reading was a big waste of time. The local basketball gym rat and fanatic found the same teamwork as part of an artillery crew. The kid from the lily white neighborhood of Inwood saw his black platoon buddies suffer bigotry and exclusion in Lawton, Oklahoma. The tedium of spit shining shoes and cleaning a rifle with a toothbrush made me do things right. It was only much later that I learned the answer to my constant question, what is this good training for? The answer was for life. And one more for perspectives, if I can find it here. Yes. He stepped up. Wally Pipp was the first baseman for New York Yankees, a good first baseman. One day he had a headache and asked the manager to put the rookie in today. He did, and Pipp never started the game for the Yankees, but the rookie Lou Gehrig stepped up. Chad Mitchell was the lead singer of the Chad Mitchell Trio. He left the group to seek greater stardom as the soloist. You may have heard of his replacement with the group. John Denver stepped up. When the recently acquired Bobby Thompson broke his leg in spring training with the Milwaukee Braves, it opened the door for a rookie. Hank Aaron stepped up. When John the Baptist lost his head, it was a truly terrible thing. But the next guy stepped up. Thank you.
We're all replaceable, unfortunately.